Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm Alex here at GolfMagic and you're joining me here at King's Golf in East Grenton in the UK, one of the best golf venues I've ever been in England and the world to test out some very, very exciting irons. That's right, you've guessed it, you've seen the title, the new Mizuno Pro irons are out. We've got the Mizuno Pro 221, 223 and 225. I'm splitting these up into separate videos and today is going to be the Mizuno Pro 221. I will just talk very quickly about the aesthetics, I guess, of all of the ranges and what you can see of the changes. Then we'll talk about the tech of the Mizuno Pro 221, what I can see here, and then hit it on the TrackMan. We're going to have a look at the Mizuno Pro 221 today. This range is coming from the MP-20, the MP, and now it's Mizuno Pro. If you guys are confused, if you have the JPX, that's a different range. That's actually made from different materials. Instantly, you can tell with these ranges and the Mizuno Pro 221 that they've made some differences in the scripting, mainly the little logo here. They've changed the font, and I think this will split opinion, but if you guys are going to shy away from an iron because you don't like the font on the back of the club, I know there's going to be a few of you, but maybe focus on the performance. They've also changed the numbering on the sole of the club. It's now a black font rather than white. Big fan of that. I think for durability as well, it does look a little bit better. White always gets a little bit muddy. Black, big fan. The Pro 221 is the least forgiving of the range. If you're looking back to the MP-20, you're thinking the MP-20, the MP-20 MMC and the HMB. This is the MP-20 version, so it is for those better players, but I'll talk about why it may not be because of combo sets later on in this video. With that Mizuno feel, the Mizuno Pro 221s are from a grain flow forged HD high density, which you're going to get that unmistakable Mizuno feel through impact. So similar to all the other ranges, this is going to feel pretty special. The slight differences you will see from an aesthetic point of view will be mainly in those shorter irons. Throughout the set, they do have a thicker muscle behind the impact position. If you look towards the sole of the club, it is slightly thicker. More notable for me in those short irons, and the short irons do look a little bit smaller. Some people do say that the pitching wedge from some Mizuno sets are always a little bit chunky. Not in these, not in the MP-20s, still a very nice blade looking club. What I find most interesting in the Mizuno Pro 221 range is the narrower cambered sole that you can see, again, more notably on those short irons. I think this is really interesting. It is requested more by those tour players and also from a lot of people on the golf forums. And it is interesting to look at. I'll show you a picture here, but I'll imagine that will come to less drag and also just a better performing golf club. The last thing that I will mention before I go hit some balls is these have an optimized graduated tapered blade, meaning that you should get a more penetrating ball flight. This is throughout the set, and also the CG and sweet spot is fine-tuned throughout the set. So this is supposed to be a pretty special iron set. Let's go hit them now. I'm gonna hit mainly the 6-iron, but I'll hit a few shots and see how they perform. Okay, so I have got the 6-iron here in the Mizuno Pro 221. I didn't mention all of the Mizuno Pro range has the copper underlay, meaning that you are going to get a very, very soft feel with the club head. I've got the Project X LS in 6.0 and 120 gram shaft, so you may expect a slightly lower ball flight, maybe slightly lower spin, but maybe not too much. I haven't hit this at all yet. So I'm gifting you guys and myself a completely honest reaction to this and see how it feels. I did test the Mizuno MP-20s a few years back, or about a year ago. But in all honesty, I was a far worse golfer then than I am now. So let's hit a few shots. Ooh, that's left, I think. Okay, maybe not. That's a good one. Absolutely smashed that one. Whew. Okay. Let's jump over to the TrackMan now and just do a deep dive into those shots before I hit some more. So that was actually a pretty good 5 balls because I did hit it a little bit over the club face. There were 2 shots in particular that I did actually just hit a little bit low and on the heel. So if we just go to the numbers of these 5 here, I had a pretty consistent club head speed, but you'll see there's 2 there that dip just into the 129 rather than about the 134 range because I didn't hit them very well. But apart from that, it's not actually as bad as I thought. I thought there would be a little bit worse in terms of the overall, just the overall data that I got there. But if you look at it, you can see that 184 came to that, and the other one as well, 129, went to 203. There was one that you'll see at the 139.6 that could not have been more out of the middle of the club face, and that's why it went. Everything about that one was pretty much bang on, with smash being 1.44, higher than a lot more of them. But those were all pretty good there. Again, pretty good height and launch angle, all very consistent. But if we're talking about the feel that I had out of that, they don't feel that forgiving, I'll be honest. You know where you hit it every single shot, which you kind of need to with a blade and muscle back club. It's a very tour friendly club. I think you can already tell that they've had a lot of tour feedback from it. But out of hitting those 5 shots there, I mean, dispersion, in terms of actual variance of left and right, I'd be pretty happy with that. It's just that one there that I did really hit badly, which is why it has got a lot of diminishing distance. But that's pretty bang on there. I'm very happy with that. And I think the consistency, I'm not the best player in the world. If you want to find someone who's doing it like a robot, probably go to TXG. But I think it's quite a good test here because I've hit those all in a pretty okay dispersion range, apart from that kind of poor one that's just on a little bit short. The spin is a little low, but I think that's more down to the shaft than the actual club head itself. In this video, it's more to do with the actual feel of it and the numbers as well, but I think those are pretty bang on. Now, the club, the 6-iron that I use, is quite an intimidating club, but I've used worse. I have used a lot worse, guys, and it does still, if you are a tour player, if you are that low handicap player, I really can't fault looking down at that address. I think if I had to kind of say what it looks like, I can't, because I don't think there is a club that looks that similar to it. People are probably liking it to maybe the TaylorMade P7 MCs, but I think the actual design of the club head, the heel to toe length, and also that sole makes it look very, very different. Let's just hit a few more now, and then move on to maybe the 8-iron, just see how it progresses throughout the set. Wow. That's another one that's blocked, unfortunately. That's the one. Look how far it's going. Oh, wow, wow, wow. I'll tell you what, the more you hit this, the better it gets. It really does. It's just now making me more excited to hit the 223 and the 225, to be honest. Let's have a final look at those numbers very quickly. So you would have seen in that one the dispersion going slightly left and right. That is user error, and that's not down to the club at all. That's just down to me. But if you look at those last ones there, that is some very, very good ball speed. Really now hitting that 140 mile an hour pretty consistently. I didn't think I hit them that well, but I did if you look at the smash, ranging from 1.42 to 1.44. There was a few, I think that 1.42 was slightly out of the heel, but those numbers for a blade, getting a 200 to 208 yard carry, and then going out to, well, it says going out to 215, but it probably wouldn't. It'd probably go to a bit less because the spin's a bit low. Those numbers are very, very good. They really are. But as much as I can say so many things about numbers, the feel of this thing when you hit it out of the middle, yes, Mizuno's good. Mizuno's great. Everyone says nothing feels like a Mizuno, and they've backed that up. But this is, this could be something special. Yes, it will feel similar to the MP-20, but I'm pretty impressed with this so far. From an aesthetics point of view to the feel, it is an all-around, pretty much bang-on iron set for a low handicap golfer. I will quickly show you the dispersion. You see a few there went left and right. Just not the best, but again, that's user error, nothing down to the club itself. A few more shots now with the short iron. I've got an 8-iron. Let's see what it looks like. Let's just have a feel with it, and then I'll give my final thoughts. The 8-iron, in all honesty, isn't that intimidating in comparison to the 6-iron. A little bit more of a thicker top line. It is a smaller club head. That is actually quite noticeable when you're thinking back to the Mizuno MP-20s. I'm looking down at it, it looks smaller, but with that encouragement from the thicker top line, it isn't that scary of a club. I've hit far worse, but it's still a very, very nice club to look at. Oh yeah, that's good. That's some good numbers. That felt good. Yeah, that felt really good. Let's leave it there for that 8-iron. Wow. So progressionally through the set, I'm actually probably leaning towards preferring the Pro 221s in the short irons. I know 6 and 8, it's not that big of a difference, but that feels good and maybe slightly more forgiving with that difference in the thicker soles at the top there. Quick look at the numbers for these 3 shots, as I was very happy with these. If we just go quickly to the dispersion, pretty bang on there. I know they were all left slightly, but that's again probably down more to a user error, but very consistent and going quite far as well actually. That's one thing that I'm quite impressed with so far, that although the Pro 221s aren't really going to shout about distance in any way, they're actually going a fair way, which you can see there with the carry ranging from 175 to 180, staying about 180 for an 8-iron. My 8-iron does not go that far. I'll talk about the lofts at the end of this video, but very, very good numbers. And again, it's kind of alluding to that feel as well. If you can get numbers like this with the feel that you're receiving from these Mizuno Pro 221s, it's really going to be tough to find a set that will beat this. It's pretty obvious that I'm a big fan of these so far, but I've got a few more thoughts, so let's sum it up. So guys, as you can tell, I'm a big, big fan of the Mizuno Pro 221 irons. I think in terms of stability, you can get very consistent numbers for ball speed, distance, and spin rate. Out of the 221, 223, and 225, I imagine this will be the most stable out of all of them, but to be honest, they're all going to be pretty close together. If you were to compare the MP-20 to the 221, I will be doing this in a future video, but I imagine there's not going to be too much difference. It's more actually down to that aesthetics that you will look at and think, okay, this is going to be a big difference. From feel, you may not notice it, but I noticed here to begin with that these feel absolutely superb. I haven't tried an iron like this in a long, long time. I'm now actually really excited to try the 223 and 225 because what I've heard from Mizuno and all across the golf forums is that these will be very big for those combo sets. As I said earlier in the video, I was a big fan of the short irons, the 8-iron. I imagine that if you could make a perfect set, you could probably do the 225 in your long irons and then push up to the 221s in those shorter irons and just change the lofts around a little bit. The lofts themselves are relatively high for a blade club. I'll put the lofts on the screen for you now. So you can see a 7-iron at 34 degrees, pretty high, 6-iron at 30 degrees. Yeah, that is pretty much expected from Mizuno, no difference from the MP-20. I was noticing a little bit of an increase in those numbers for the carry distance, but in all honesty, that's probably down to the smash factor that I was getting, so my consistent number was at the peak as to what I can reach. If I was hitting it a little bit over the club face, it'd probably be diminished a little bit. There's gonna be a lot more videos from us coming very, very soon with Mizuno from the reviews of the 223, 225. I will mention and probably hit some of these with the 221 in those videos as well, just to give a bit of a comparison, and then I will compare them to other Mizuno irons, other irons as well. If you want me to compare the 221 to anything in particular over the next few months, let me know. These will be available for you guys to purchase in February of 2022. They'll be available in fitters' hands pretty much now when they are released. So go try them out. I think you guys will be very, very impressed with these. From the looks to the feel, Mizuno have done very well with this Pro 221. Let's see how the 223 and 225 perform. If you guys have enjoyed this video, leave a like down below. And if you guys are new to GolfMagic, hit the subscribe button too, because it really helps us coming into 2022. I'll see you guys at the next video.